Coming up on Network Africa, with less than 2 weeks to go before the African National Congress in South Africa, the ruling party elects a new leadership. And Somalia's African Union Peacekeeping Force mission chief says a cut in the size of the military force could hurt Somalia's security. Plus, the 14th largest diamond in the world sold for over $6 million in New York. Hello everyone, I am Bisi Adebayo. We'll begin in South Africa, where Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa has taken the lead in the race to succeed President Jacob Zuma as the leader of the governing African National Congress after more than 3,000 branches of the party nominated their candidate. Mr. Ramaphosa won 1,861 nominations, compared with the 1,309 of his main rival, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, the president's ex-wife and former chairwoman of the African Union Commission. The ANC will elect a new leader at its national conference starting on December the 16th. The winner will lead the party's campaign in the 2019 election when the scandal hit Mr. Zuma's 10-year rule ends. The Channels TV's Johannesburg Bureau Chief Betty Dibia joins us now for more on this. Betty, what more do we know about South Africa's Deputy President, that's Cyril Ramaphosa, who has taken the lead in the race to succeed President Jacob Zuma?
Well, we know he's been the Deputy President for a few years now, since the former Deputy President, Kgalema Motlanthe, didn't come back after the Mangaung conference. But we know him as a businessman, as a very good negotiator, a mediator in times of crisis. He's an activist. He's been in the fight against the apartheid at the time. So he has a long-running years of service to the ANC as well as the country. But regarding this race, the race is not over, as maybe some may assume, because these are just nominations from the branches. As we stand now, you have 9 provinces in the ANC, and all being called, apart from some particular cases where they're sort of dispute. We have a case in Mpumalanga, for example, which may go to court. In that nomination process, there was a candidate called a unity candidate, who actually scored 223 votes, higher than both front-running candidates. So it's not over. You still have the case of the votes of the leagues. You have the ANC Youth League, the ANC Women's League, and the Veterans League. We know that the ANC Youth League and the ANC Women's League have endorsed Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. And the veterans will definitely, I'm sure, support Mr. Ramaphosa. But it's really not over. And the voting process proper during the conference this month is different. It's not a straight-cut thing, because you have a situation where 100 branch members or 100 delegates are equal to 1 vote, and another process for subsequent votes. And also, some of the bigger provinces, or those who may send more branches, more delegates, may fall under those who support Mrs. Dlamini Zuma. So it's not over. It's not over yet.
Yes, you say that the race is not over, but were you surprised at the margin of votes between Ramaphosa and Dlamini Zuma?
As it stands, you have, I think, 1,800 plus for Mr. Ramaphosa and 1,300 plus. That's removing all the league votes, which that tally may still, or the gap. I think the number, let me just clear something. The numbers that you mentioned is just Gauteng, but you have 9 provinces in South Africa. So mentioning only Gauteng just paints a little part of the picture. It's a much bigger picture. And that gap between both, which is about 500 or so votes, may still reduce by the time you call the votes of the leagues, as I mentioned earlier. So it's not just about Gauteng that you're calling. That's what you were holding on to.
Okay, yes, indeed, Betty. But looking at Gauteng province now endorsing Ramaphosa, what exactly is the relationship between the two, and how significant is the province for the race, with a contrast of 374 for Ramaphosa, like you mentioned, and 64 for Dlamini Zuma?
Okay, if you insist on talking about Gauteng, the leaders, political leaders in Gauteng, remember when the president's many problems started? And the state capture issue, the corruption charges. A lot of people were calling for the president to leave office and to save the ANC's name and integrity. Some of the leaders who spoke up, breaking ranks with the whole entire body there in Gauteng. And definitely they've openly supported Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. So they didn't hide their own position from the start, especially when when people started calling for the president to step down. So the ANC leaders, the ANC rules Gauteng province, although some of the municipalities, two of the municipalities, major metros have gone to the DA. But Gauteng as a province is being ruled by the ANC, and the leaders of the ANC in Gauteng openly do not support President Zuma, especially with all the corruption charges. I'm sure that's what led to what you saw as the final figures for Gauteng.
Channels Television's Johannesburg Bureau Chief Betty Dibia, thanks for those updates there.